So this is a great little news segment here. I think it's on ABC, and it's about the rise of the Tea Party and the rise of Justice Democrats. Let's take a look at how they frame this, and then I have a lot to say about it.
When House Speaker John Boehner abruptly retired in 2015, his fall was widely attributed to mounting pressure in disputes about the debt ceiling and other issues from fellow Republican lawmakers, especially an upstart group of ultra-conservatives who called themselves the Freedom Caucus, and at whom Boehner directed a parting shot.
Yes, freedom makes all things possible, but patience is what makes all things real.
Boehner's successor, Republican Congressman Paul Ryan, only took the gavel on the condition that the Freedom Caucus endorse him. Within 3 years, Ryan, too, subjected to similar pressures in the Trump era, would retire abruptly.
Let me just say that
the old partisan gridlock of the 90s, when President Clinton and GOP House Speaker Newt Gingrich waged battle over 2 government shutdowns, has only worsened with the rise since then of intra-party gridlock.
The only election that most members of Congress care about is their primary.
Brendan Buck served as press secretary to Speaker Boehner and as counselor to Speaker Ryan.
All members end up doing is watching their right flank if they're Republican or their left flank if they're a Democrat. What that ends up cultivating is an incentive structure where you are more likely to be rewarded for being against your own party, demonstrating that you are to the right or the left of leadership, depending on where you are, rather than finding any type of solution. If you can't even get your own party on the same page, how then can you have a battle of ideas with the other party?
The rise of social media and well-funded outside political action groups have diminished the power of the Democratic and Republican national committees and increased the frequency of divisive primary campaigns that topple entrenched party leaders, such as when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ousted Joe Crowley, the number 4 House Democrat, in 2018, and when 16-term Democrat Eliot Engel, the House Foreign Affairs chairman, fell this year to Jamal Bowman. While the Democrats as a party have not been immune to intra-party warfare, the party's leadership has been. Nancy Pelosi last week received unanimous nomination from her caucus to return as House Speaker, and she's expected to face only token opposition when she seeks re-election in January. Reporting from Chesapeake Bay, Maryland, James Rosen.
See, that is the major difference that they just kind of glossed over a little bit there, but I think it's really important because it's everything. Everything is embedded in that difference. So, yes, the similarities are that ideologically the Tea Party came up and said, we hate the Republican establishment just like we hate the Democratic establishment. Here are the things we believe in. And, one of those things is probably, the spending is out of control, so we need to, try to stop that. And we need you to resist Obama harder. So that was their thing. Now, Justice Democrats came up, and the whole idea behind Justice Democrats is, let's have lefties who are actually lefties, who are willing to fight for the policies that they believe in, and they need to take on the Democratic establishment as much as they take on the Republicans. So those are the similarities. And is there a similar dynamic in that, yes, you have people that are in the establishment of both parties that are scared of getting knocked off by somebody to their left, if they're a Democrat, somebody to their right, if they're a Republican. Yes, that's all real and good. But the main difference is the Republican leadership was actually challenged by the Tea Party to the point where you had multiple Republican leaders say, fuck this, it's not worth it, I'm out. Fuck this, it's not worth it, I'm out. Paul Ryan, John Boehner, both of them were like, I'm done here. I can't please all the factions. What am I going to do? This is unworkable. I'm out. So the Tea Party made life for Republican leadership hell because they actually demanded stuff. Compare that with Justice Democrats. And what is effectively, it's the left Tea Party. Nancy Pelosi is getting approved for these positions with unanimous consent. And they don't really hold her feet to the fire. They don't really make her life a living hell. Whenever she gives them token gestures or symbols of agreement, right? Pats them on the head or whatever, they're like, cool. AOC famously called her the mama bear. Nancy Pelosi is the mama bear of the Democratic Party. It's just too easy to placate the left. And I don't think the left means bad by it, right? I don't think they mean bad by it. I think that they think, listen, there's a process in place. There's a hierarchy in the Democratic Party. The hierarchy, to one extent or another, is sort of earned. So Nancy's in that position because she's been here in Washington, D.C. forever, and she worked her way up, and she's there because she deserves to be there as a leader. And, like, who am I as a freshman member or sophomore member or junior member of Congress? Who am I to sort of, like, shake things up and to really challenge the power within the structure of the Democratic Party? And they also think, I think they rationalize it by saying, if I get in tight with leadership like Pelosi, then she'll return the favor. Like, if I look out for her, she'll look out for me, and that means I could go further, and I could try to do more good for people if I don't make an enemy out of people who are supposed to be my ally. Like, I think I'm trying here to see it from their perspective, to see it from the perspective of the Justice Democrats and why they're doing things that they do. But ultimately, no, I think the only way that we can affect change and actually get it is to make an enemy out of Democratic leadership and let them know that they're the enemy. And let the media know that they're the enemy. And let them know my whole job is to represent my constituents, is to represent the people. The people, my voters, and even the American people, forget just my voters and my constituents, the American people overwhelmingly want Medicare for all, want free college, want a living wage, want to end the wars, want a Green New Deal. I'm going to fight for these things, and if you get in the way, you're my enemy. How you like them apples? And speak up, and be heard, and be principled, and be aggressive. And I think the only way that we win on these things is if you make an enemy out of Democratic leadership, and if you make her life a living hell. I would have loved it if Nancy Pelosi was like, it's not worth it, I'm going to step down. But it is worth it for Nancy Pelosi, because she always finds a way to unite the corporatists and the moderates and the left, and usually she unites them, almost always she unites them on the terms of the moderates. So that's the big difference. The big difference is the Tea Party barked, but they also bite. Justice Democrats, they barked, but there's not much bite there. And it pains me to say, but it's true. And I still think they mean well, but they need to adjust that strategy moving forward. And if they don't adjust that strategy, we're never going to get any change. None of the things we want. How do we have a Democratic House and we've never had a vote on Medicare for all? We've never had a vote on it. And we have a Democratic House. What kind of a slap in the face is that when 70% of the country wants Medicare for all and we're in the middle of a pandemic? We're in the middle of a pandemic where tens of millions of people are losing their health insurance. And the idea from Pelosi was, let's expand COBRA, which is a shitty neoliberal means-tested bullshit program. I mean, you have to treat her as the enemy because she is the enemy. You have to make enemies inside the party because there are enemies within inside the party. They acknowledge there's a civil war, but you always fall in line and try to unify or whatever. But you end up unifying behind a corporate agenda. That's the problem. So take a lesson from the Tea Party. The lesson from the Tea Party is, no, we really do hate John Boehner and we hate Republican leadership as much as we hate the Democrats. And we're going to let them know that. And we're going to make their life a living hell. We're not going to take bullshit deals that don't give us anything what we want. Unfortunately, the left is convinced oftentimes, no, seriously, you're going to get nothing and you're going to be okay with it. And then for whatever reason, they're like, okay, yeah, I guess we're going to get nothing and we're going to be okay with it. And remember, guys, I'm talking specifically here about the people who have the right policy ideas, and I know they mean it. So I'm not talking about the liars. There's plenty of liars in the Progressive Caucus who will say good things, but they don't even really mean it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the people, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, the ones who we like and who we know are with us on policy. I do think they mean well, and so I think that they have the ability to strategically switch it up. But they have to commit to strategically switching it up, and they have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, have to be comfortable with making enemies and embracing the fact that they have enemies, and fighting this battle like it really matters. Fighting it like you're one of 5% or 10% of people in Congress who actually give a shit. Because I got news for you. You are. You are. You're part of 1% or 5% that actually gives a shit. So don't make friends with the people who are corrupt and who are too far gone in there and who are only going to serve the corporations. Don't make friends with them. Don't go along to get along. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is, that's the big difference. The big difference is the Republican leadership hated the Tea Party. Democrat leadership, they don't like Justice Democrats, but they know they could get them to fall in line, and that's a problem. Get out of line, and get out of line fast.